So you wanna be a picture book writer, then you gotta write picture books. And you're gonna need a bucket load of bright ideas for titles, plots, and hooks. If you're partial to prose or you're raring to rhyme, then repeat after me, it's a challenge, but I'm gonna tackle each story 1 month at a time with 12 by 12.
Do you want to take a deep dive into picture book craft to give your manuscripts the best chance of getting published? Consider Picture Book Summit, a world-class online conference for picture book authors and illustrators. Oceans of possibility await you on Saturday, October 3rd, 2026, alongside keynotes from award-winning speakers, author Derek Barnes, author Deborah Underwood, and Caldecott honor-winning author-illustrator Brian Lees. Register by August 27th and get $100 off the regular price at picturebooksummit.com/Julie. Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the 12 by 12 Picture Book Podcast. I'm Julie Hedlund, published picture book author and founder of the 12 by 12 Picture Book Writing Challenge. And I'm here today with my co-host, Kelly Panique.
Hello, hello.
And two 12 by 12 members. It's going to be a really fun episode. We have somebody you've met before if you've been listening to the podcast. We have Kari Lavelle. Say
hello.
And
happy to be here.
First time podcast guest Michael Benner.
Hey.
And these two are both published picture book authors and members of 12 by 12. And the reason this is such an exciting and I'm sure to be fun episode is a couple of weeks ago. Now we're recording this in mid-ish August. And a couple of weeks ago, both Michael and Kari had picture books on the New York Times Bestseller List.
Yay!
Yay! Right? And I first of all, I screamed, right? We were, and
she did.
weirdly, Kelly and I were together at the time because we were doing our annual, 12 by 12 preparation planning retreat. And I was like, oh my God, because it's really, really difficult and rare and almost like cosmic to end up on the New York Times bestseller list. And then to have two members in the same week. And you're both from Texas, so there must be something in the water there. You're both in Austin, so you guys know each other. And Michael, this was your first book.
It's crazy.
This was your debut picture book. All right, so I don't want to give too much away. Obviously, you can tell I'm excited. So what I'm going to do is we're going to give you each the opportunity to talk about your particular book's path to getting on the New York Times bestseller list. And I guess I'll start with Kari because your book had Butt or Face, which we've talked about on the podcast quite a bit before in the past. But there's now a whole
We're the
series.
Companion podcast for Butt or Face.
Thank you. Yes.
Right. But the original Butt or Face, because there is a whole series of them now, Revenge of the Butts and Adora Butts and Rainbow Butts and however you like your
butts and
Super gross butts. Yes. However you like your butts, you've got a book for it.
Wow.
That went downhill fast.
All
right.
That's welcome to my life.
Right? Exactly.
I still am not sure how you handle like a whole room full of children talking about butts.
But back to the point. The original Butt or Face is the one that hit the New York Times bestseller list. And I think it was at number 7. And that book had been out. It has been out about 7 years, right? Or
3.
Oh, okay.
Yes, 3 years. So it came out the summer of 2023. So it's been out for 3 years. And so it's, often the books that are landing are new books that have had pre-orders that go towards those sales. So it was a super surprise to see it on there. It's been doing well and gaining I call it my cult following, because I definitely have some super fans out there. And the fifth one just came out last week, 2 weeks ago. What's it? Yeah, 2 weeks ago. The way it got onto the New York Times bestseller list is because really an influencer named Audra, AHHHDRA, I believe on Instagram, she had this viral post that was talking about fun picture books. And so several of the books that she talked about onto her Instagram post landed on the bestseller list. But then I just heard today it's back on the list again at number 8. So
wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so it popped off the list last week and then it's back on. But yeah, I mean, just a surprise. It feels like out of nowhere to see it on this list. I mean, this industry is so wild. You just really don't know what the path these books will take. So
right.
I think it's really interesting though too, is we have to mention that when we say the New York Times bestseller list, it's not picture books that all came out this year, the last 2 years. You're literally competing against Dr. Seuss,
right. And the Very Hungry Caterpillar.
And the Very Hungry Caterpillar, right. And Where the Wild Things Are, and the crayons that quit. You're competing against every book that's been out in the last however many years. So it's really incredible.
It's literally every book, every picture book that's in print,
right,
is a contender for the New York Times bestseller list. So it's a really big deal. All right, Michael, your debut picture book, it came out, and basically tell us what? So what's your story?
Well, the book came out in mid-July. And I think it was about a week later that we found that it, made it to the list. I was surprised. I had no idea that it was going to happen. It's a funny story. If you like puns and wordplay, Julie, I know, it's probably right up your alley.
It totally is.
The illustrations are really cool. It's kind of eye-popping, but Scholastic put a lot of weight behind this particular book. They did a lot of advertisement for it, pre-publication. They sent F&Gs, which are these paper, fold and gathered. So what it stands for, it's like a paperback version of the book. They sent that out to a lot of influencers before it went out. Barnes & Noble promoted it a lot. So it's been, I think for 2 months, July and August, it's been book of the month at Barnes & Noble. And there's a special exclusive edition of the book there that's got slightly different cover, and it's got a bunch of stickers in the back, and they've promoted it every Barnes & Noble store.
I think I don't think we've said the name of the book yet, actually.
Oh, yeah. So it's called Mac and Cheese, The Origin Story. The illustrator is Alison Hawkins, and Orchard Books, which is a Scholastic imprint, is the publisher.
Yeah. And so it is got all the cheese puns, all the pasta puns. Yep. Literally every single one you could think of is in there. And so, of course, I loved it because I love puns and wordplay. And so to everyone, I feel like I'm having a little bit of a Julia Roberts moment here, because for everyone who ever said to me, there are too many puns.
That's right. It's never too many puns.
Big mistake.
Huge.
Puns work.
Michael's book is proof that there can be books where there's no such thing as too many puns. Because what are you going to do if you're writing a story about mac and cheese and how they came together? So congratulations to both of you. And
thank you.
For our listeners, I just want to give a little bit of background in case you don't know how the bestseller list. Well, nobody really knows exactly what goes into.
Please tell us.
Educate all of us, please.
Right. Well, so the main point I want to make is pre-orders of a book are very important for authors. So if you are sitting there wondering, I wonder, how can I help a fellow author one of the best things that you can do is pre-order their book. And what that means is typically months, maybe even up to 6 months ahead of time, the book will become available on all the bookstore websites for pre-order. In fact, Barnes & Noble regularly runs specials on pre-orders, which is a lot of times when I stock up on 12 by 12 member books.
Usually it's like 25% off. So it's a
off.
nice
It's
discount
a nice
to pre-order.
thing. And so if you know somebody who has a book coming out, it's really, really helpful to pre-order, because the way that the weekly sales for New York Times bestsellers work is the first week that your book comes out, it's the sales from that week plus all of the pre-orders, which is why sometimes when publishers are putting a lot behind a book, they're hoping that these pre-order sales will do exactly what it did for Michael, which is, enough of them so that combined with the first week of sales, the book debuts on the New York Times bestseller list. But there's like this very secret society, I guess, of bookstores, and nobody ever knows exactly which ones they are at whatever moment, that submit their numbers. If it still works the way that it was explained to me, there are certain independent bookstores and then Barnes & Noble and Amazon and whatever that report, but it's not like all the bookstores across the country, right?
Hey, I thought it was like all the bookstores.
No, it's not. It's not. And in fact, I'm not even sure Amazon is included. I'm pretty sure Barnes & Noble is, but I'm not sure Amazon is. And then it's these indie bookstores that are almost hand-picked.
So then that's why you see different top 10 lists around, like, because I think USA Today has one that's different usually than.
Right.
Okay,
right.
that makes more sense now. Okay.
Right. But the main takeaway is pre-orders really do help an author in that their stats for that first week, which is something that the publishers keep a very close eye on. Having said that, you can get a boost. This is what we like to call the long tail, where you have a book that comes out and then 6 months later, that is not a front list title for your publisher anymore. It's called a backlist title. And lo and behold, especially now in the age of TikTok and Instagram and influencers, you can end up several years later with a book that lands on the bestseller list, probably when you least expect it. And so I wanted to ask each of you how you got the news. And I guess, Michael, you can go first this time.
So I was on an airplane. Actually, I was stuck on the tarmac at Chicago O'Hare. My wife and my son and I were flying up to Indiana to visit my family for a little vacation, because that's where I grew up. And the flight was delayed. So we're just kind of sitting there, and I got a call from my editor. And I hear this excited talk in the background. It's a couple of people talking, but phone calls don't work really well on airplanes. So it's coming in and out. I was trying to figure out what's going on. But my wife somehow knew what was happening. She's like, "Did it happen?" I'm like, "Did what happen?" What are you talking about? She's like, "Is it on the New York Times bestseller list?" I'm like, "I don't know." But finally, I got enough of the conversation where my editor told me, and I was like, "Oh my gosh." I couldn't believe it. I think I blacked out.
Yeah.
I told my wife, and then she starts telling everybody in the plane. She's like my biggest hype person.
Aww.
And then my son was sitting next to me. He was watching a movie on his iPad, and he took his headphones off. He's like, "What happened?" And I told him, he's like, "Good job, Dad. You did
Yeah,
it." And
exactly.
he patted me on the back.
Nice.
And then he went back to read or
Yeah.
listening to his movie.
You got the headphones to come off though, which is huge
Right.
as far
It
as
was-
I'm concerned. Yeah.
I felt
I'm
so
surprised
validated.
they didn't
Yeah.
drop they didn't drop the oxygen mask.
Yeah. I needed it.
Yes.
Right? Wow. All right, Kari, your turn.
Well, I was traveling also. I was actually traveling with so my family and then Lindsay Leslie, who is a 12 by 12er picture book author, and her husband is a novelist. On the side, he has a full-time job also. And then Ryan's parents, so Lindsay's in-laws. So we were all in Scotland and London, and I was at this we were at a cute little bar. It was at like 9 p.m. I was, I'm tired. I'm winding down. And I see an email from my editor that's like, "Hey, can we get on a Zoom?" And then my agent had replied, she was camping and she said that I was in Scotland. So it's like, "Can you just email us?" And so then it was on an email, and it felt so surreal. I was also just tired. And so luckily Lindsay was there. She started recording and the moment. And so we had to get another whiskey.
Good choice.
Right.
Yeah, but it just felt so surreal.
Wow. Those are two great stories. Both. Oh my goodness. Wow. For our listeners, just FYI, Kari and Lindsay gave a talk on doing school visits together, and that's episode number 27. We didn't think we were going to have you back so soon, but needs must, right?
Right.
I had to figure out, how can I get back on the 12 by 12?
Right.
Because I'm like, you know what if I?
Yeah.
All right. And we learned a little bit. I mean, could you guys give us like the pitch? I think, Michael, we kind of know, but maybe there's more to the story you want to share. And then Kari, let's talk a little bit about your book as well, because we haven't mentioned an illustrator for your book, and there's a reason for that. So I'd love to get into that. But Kari, why don't you go first on this one?
Sure. And I also, so Sourcebooks is my publisher. I should mention that too. They are just a super supportive publisher and so involved in the success of this book. So there's not an illustrator because the But or Face has photographs. This is a nonfiction book, which is another point. Nonfiction picture books don't usually end up on the New York Times. I think it was Melissa Stewart that pointed that out. And I was like, you're right. So anyways, there's an incredible art team at Sourcebooks. And so But or Face, if you're not familiar with it, the reader is asked if a close-up photo is a butt or a face, and then the reveal is on the next page along with all kinds of animal facts and puns. So
It's very cheeky.
it sure is.
Julie
my
has
God.
the zingers today.
We are just, I hope, even if you're listening and not watching this on YouTube, I hope you can sense how much fun we're having. we are very cheesy together.
Oh boy. After
Wow.
another. Oh my gosh.
Wow.
And so
You make me smile.
Yeah. We can do this for days, you guys. All right. Michael, tell us the origin story of Mac and Cheese, the origin story, like how you got the idea. And this is your debut book. So how did it get sold and all of that stuff?
Yeah, in some ways it happened kind of fast. So I wrote it in 2021 as a homework assignment for a class at the Writing Barn here in Austin. So I still had a day job. I was learning how to write, so I took a class, and in that class it was during the pandemic, so everything was online. Most classes are like at night or on weekends because everyone has a day job and can't attend during the day. But the topic of the class was picture book duos, like Frog and Toad, Elephant and Piggy, Stick and Stone. And at the end of the class, the instructor, Carmen Oliver, told us we had to write a new manuscript for the next week. Well, I'd had mac and cheese to eat for dinner during class, and we just learned about picture book duos. So I'm like, okay, like I'll try it. And the next day I just kind of, it just flowed, like it just kind of came out. So I sat on it for 2 years because I didn't think much of it other than it was, kind of a homework assignment sort of thing. And I picked it back up in 2023 when I quit my job and I became a full-time writer. I spruced it up. I pitched it to a few agents, but one of the agents was someone who loved mac and cheese. I think she'd sold the first mac and cheese cookbook ever.
Wow.
So I'm like, I'm taking a total chance on this. Maybe she didn't do many picture books, but it turned out she picked it up. And then within a couple of months, by the end of 2023, we sold it to Scholastic. And it just kind of took off from there.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, talk about high concept, right? Like you look at that book and I know what it's about. Like
I almost can't believe it hasn't been written before.
Right,
given
right.
how much kids are obsessed with mac and cheese. You can
Yeah.
hardly find a kid who doesn't want to eat mac and cheese multiple
Well,
times.
I knew several kids when my kids were growing up, and even nieces and nephews, that's all they eat is mac and
Right.
cheese. Like,
Yeah.
Right. So, yeah. And the serendipity of you having eaten it the day you got the homework
Right.
assignment.
If I'd had a salad, it'd be,
right.
It would be, I don't know.
Croutons and lettuce. That doesn't,
Yeah.
not quite the ring.
Although there are some good lettuce. Let us begin. There are some
true,
good.
True.
There could be some good tomato, whatever. So one of the things that is great about having both of you together is it showcases all the different paths that a book can take to finding its readers. So I'm talking less now about the New York Times list and more just about finding an audience. Because I think, Kari, what happened with Butt or Face, it just became such a, shall I say, word of mouth, in that kids loved it because it's Butt or Face. It was just such a great concept. And I think that there was a lot of, on the ground love for it. I remember when Song After Song came out and I was at the Independent Booksellers Conference of Colorado, or for like the whatever this territory was, and
Mountains and Plains.
Mountains and Plains,
Yeah,
thank you. And Texas is part of that.
Yes,
And
I've been to the San Antonio one, but
yeah, and that one, and they had like this whole Butt or Face display, and I took a picture. Who knows if I ever sent it to you or not, but I was like, wow, that's so cool, because I think that it was still fairly new at that point. And you just don't know, if something really hits, then the groundswell of that will rise. And then, of course, because the first one did well, you get asked to write more. And then every time a new book comes out in that series, I'm sure it raises even more awareness about Butt or Face, the original, but it takes some time, And Michael, you had in the biz, I guess it's called probably a lead title or something close to a lead title, which is your publisher decided ahead of time that they really wanted to push this particular book. So for those of you who may be unfamiliar, every publisher and every imprint at a publisher will have a list of books that's releasing in a particular season, with spring and fall, being the primary ones. And this would have been on their fall list. And of those books, the publisher will take a bet on which one is going to be the biggest bestseller, and they sort of put advance marketing dollars toward that book. And sometimes in this case, it works out perfectly. It works out really well. And sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes they're wrong. And sometimes the word of mouth factor takes over and it's a completely different book. And then they have to shift their resources and so on. So there's no formula. And I think the most important thing is writing the best book that you can write, and the book that speaks to you and makes you happy. And I know that these books do that for both of you. And so I would appreciate hearing from each of you about staying true to that inner self that, I mean, Kari, you've written very different books. Michael, this is your debut, and I know you've got another one already in the works, right, in this series.
Mm-hmm.
Michael, this kind of book, this funny, punny, high concept, and you've got another one coming in the series. I will let you tell us about it. But now that that's become a New York Times bestseller, are you worried about books that you may write in the future that may not fit in that same vein? Or are you like, no, I just don't care. I'm happy with whatever.
This may be the only time I have a book on the bestseller list, and it's totally fine with me. You know, this is part of a series. Maybe some of the other books will kind of follow suit. I don't know, but I have zero control over probably the majority of the, you know, the factors that cause a book to get on this list. The only thing that I'm in control of is the words that I write for it. And I tend to write the best when, like, I'm writing about something that I just enjoy writing about, not something that I'm really told to write about. When I sit down and write my next 12 by 12 draft for the month of August or September, I'm just going to write something that, you know, I want to write about, not something that I think is popular in the market right now, or that I think could hit it big in the future, because I just, it's like dog chasing its tail. You're never going to catch it.
Exactly. Do you write mostly humor, or have you written other types of books?
Mostly humor. I have a dream of like getting a Halloween book published at some point. So I'm either like Halloween themed stuff or spooky stuff, and then silly, punny, like wordplay based books like Mac and Cheese.
Mm-hmm.
You were talking about how it was the book of the month at Barnes and Noble, and there was a special edition at Barnes and Noble. How did you find out about that? And like, I mean, I think if my editor called me up and said, "Hey, guess what?" I'd be like, "What? Wait, what?" Like, and you said there were like extra stickers and things involved. So what was it like to kind of to hear that news? And I'd also love to hear what you thought when you first saw Alison's illustrations.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I'd seen Alison's work before, and when they said that she was gonna be the illustrator, I'm like, this is perfect. Like, it's just what I had in mind. And then like Scholastic they're so good to work with. They showed me several versions of sketch passes of the book. Those are just like black and white drafts of the illustrations, and they let me get feedback on them. But like, as soon as I saw the first sketch pass, I'm like, this is perfect. It's like so good. And Alison does this great job of creating these very like emotive and expressive character faces and reactions in the background. So there's like all sorts of like humor happening in the background of the book, outside of the prose, which creates like these fun little Easter eggs. When I found out about Barnes and Noble, I think it was kind of an after the fact sort of thing. I was on a call with my editor, and she mentioned it, and I'm like, what did you just say? She's like, oh, I forgot to tell you.
I forgot to tell you.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. But like, stickers are awesome. Like, who doesn't want a book that's got stickers in the back? But there's a special version of the book. But then Scholastic, they created these event kits that they sent out to a bunch of indie bookstores, and then to like all the Barnes and Noble stores. They have like these mac and cheese necklace making kits.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
They've got I don't know if I have everything here.
Hashtag career goals.
I know. Look at that.
And oh wait, and this is the best thing. I should have led with this. This huge version of the book, which is great for story times.
Oh my gosh.
All the story times.
For anybody not watching on YouTube, it's probably like 5 by 3. It's like a giant version of the book.
It's as big as a child, really.
Wow. That's so cool.
So exciting to have that much publisher support, especially for a debut book, you know.
Yeah.
Now, Kari, it's funny because when you and I have talked about this before, but when you wrote butt or face, I don't think that you expected that you were going to be the butt lady.
I didn't. Yes.
Is your publisher sending butt necklaces to indie stores?
They will now. I'm gonna.
Yes.
They have
Gotta do
event
it.
kits, and they have really cool. Sorry, I have like dog crates over, but they have stickers. Where I'm trying to find if I have it. Oh, you know what? I think they're over here. They have stickers that they've created.
That's okay because now we've seen your butt and your face.
Awesome. That's so great.
Oh my God.
So they have like these stickers. Awesome. They've created some cool bookmark, but not a necklace. I really want a necklace now.
I mean, author goals right there.
Right. Truly. Yeah, for sure. No, I did not think that this would sell when I wrote it. I was just having fun during the pandemic, learning about animals. And so, yeah, no, this has been beyond anything that I would have dreamt up with the idea.
Has it ever crossed your mind that like, okay, one day I might, because you have two other beautiful books. One, your debut book, I think, was We Move the World.
That's right.
Which is nonfiction, looking at all these different figures who have done things that have changed the world.
Yes.
And the other one is a picture book biography, absolutely gorgeous, called Ode to Grapefruit. And tell me the illustrators for both of those.
So for We Move the World, Nabi H. Ali did the amazing illustrations. And then for Ode to Grapefruit, How James Earl Jones Found His Voice, Brian Collier is the illustrator. And I feel very lucky to have been paired with those illustrators. Their work is phenomenal. So,
right.
Yeah,
so
two very different vibes.
Right. Totally. Books. I mean, Ode to Grapefruit is so lyrical. And because it is about James Earl Jones having a speech impediment, which is hard to believe. I never knew that. I learned so much from reading your book, including the fact that he's from Michigan and I'm from Michigan, and I never knew that. But obviously, very, very different from butt or face. So I know that doing the additional butt books, kind of quickly now has taken a lot of time, a lot of creative energy. So how does that work in terms of other books that you are interested in and wanting to create?
I love working on the butt or face series. I mean, it's just, there's definitely challenges that the research is a lot, but I love doing it. The pace was pretty intense for several years. I'm working on number 7 and number 8 right now, but I'm working at a little bit of a slower pace. So number 5 just came out 2 weeks ago, and number 6, Frightful Butts, will be out in 2027, I believe. So
I would love to see your Google search history.
You do not. You do not. I mean, it's really like today I was looking up animals that mimic poop. There are so many cool animals that look like poop or look like bird droppings. And so that was just today.
Poopy butts.
Exactly. So there's so many cool animals that I hope I get to do this series forever. I love it so much. However, I did, ask, can we just kind of slow this pace a little bit? And I think the team at Sourcebooks was also like, it was pretty intense for everybody. So, and I just want to have some time to like percolate and make sure I have themes that all the animals connect to. But I have a giant spreadsheet that I'm always trying to come up with the next one. But I do want to work on other things.
Yeah, I was going to ask. So Ode to Grapefruit came to you because your work as a speech pathologist, that was a story that you shared with the students that you worked with. So, and obviously you like researching animals, but what kind of other things are you interested in writing, or do you like to write about? Do you only write nonfiction, or do you have fiction stories as well?
I started out writing fiction, but then I feel like once I got the nonfiction bug, it just, I love it so much. But I would like to write some, I think I don't know about you all as creatives, but I think working on some different projects kind of lights up different places in my brain. So sometimes taking a little break and working on something different is exactly what I need to do. So I feel right now I have just a little more space and time to just play with some other options. And I do have so I have board books coming out that Sourcebooks asked me to do but. So I have toddler. More butts are coming. So the first one is Farm. That's coming out in October. And then Zoo is coming out in the spring. And then I have
toddlers love butts, though. I mean, that is a fantastic audience for that.
I have them. Here's my butt. It's so cute. Isn't that so cute?
Wow.
Yeah. So it's really cute. I'm thrilled with it. So, and then I do have two science books coming out, middle grade science books that I collaborated with Chris Ferry and Daniel Sulzberg is illustrating them. So that's in the next couple of years. But that was fun to work on too, because it's just silly facts, scary facts. I love getting paid to learn. I mean, what's better than that?
Right? Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah. So, Michael, have you had a chance to do any story times with your book yet? Have you got to read it to actual children who you don't give birthday presents to and get their reaction?
Yes. I've done several story times here in Austin. I just did one earlier today outside Austin. Did one in Indiana when I visited my family there. And it's been fun. There are groans from the adults, but I'm okay with that because that means, they're like an adult groan on a dad joke is pretty good. Like that's kind of what I'm going for. There's a lot of jokes in the book that go right over the kids' heads. It's kind of like Looney Tune style humor that's more adult oriented. And there are a lot of jokes that the adults don't get that the kids crack up about. So anyway,
you've got the best of all worlds.
Yeah, no, that's perfect. Yeah. Because the kids will constantly be discovering things as they grow a little bit and revisit that story. It's fantastic.
So if you've never seen this meme before, just so that you know exactly how much I love cheese and puns, I had 5 different friends send this to me at some point, and I'm just going to recite it because I know it from memory. It's a take on Eurythmics, Sweet Dreams Are Made of These. And it goes like this. I'm not going to sing it because I'm tone deaf, but sweet dreams are made of cheese. Who am I to disagree? I travel the world for some cheddar cheese. Everybody's looking for Stilton.
That is awesome.
That's amazing.
Oh,
that's amazing.
Geez.
So if I can find it, I'll send it to you. But
I have a little fun fact about myself. My sorority nickname was Kraft because I was always telling cheesy jokes, and I was like, "Don't you dare name me cheesy!" So they named me Kraft instead. That was my
right.
Kraft.
All right. So Michael, now tell us what you have coming up.
The next book in the Delicious Duo series. So Mac and Cheese is the first book in Delicious Duos. The second book, called Milk and Cookies, The Perfect Pair, is coming out next summer, I think sometime in June. Alison Hawkins is doing the illustration for that one, and hopefully every book in the series that we have. It's a fun little story about a couple of kids who, milk and cookies as kids who aren't quite comfortable in their own skin and feel the need to embellish themselves a little bit to try to make other people like them. And it doesn't quite work, but they figure it out in the end. And I just signed a contract for the third and fourth books in the series. So I'm almost done with the words for the third book. And then, Alison will probably take that over sometime later this year. I don't know.
So since your publisher is Scholastic, the question I want to ask is your book in the book fair in the Scholastic order form? Is it already?
It will be.
It's so exciting.
I know. I wish I was a kid and could go to the book fairs again. I just remember them growing up. They were so much fun.
They were everything. Almost every book I owned came from the Scholastic Book Fair because I grew up in a small town in northern Michigan, and there were no bookstores. The nearest one would have been at the mall that was 2 hours drive. And there was, back in the days when we walked
Yeah.
barefoot in the snow, there was no such thing as Amazon or anything. Pretty much
I remember
every
getting
book.
my little stack of Clifford books and,
Yeah.
first grade or whatever that was. And
Yeah.
that's how cool. You have to get somebody to give you an order form. So you could, if it were me, I would frame it and put it in my office if I were in the Scholastic book.
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
For sure. Oof.
All right. Well, this has just been too much fun and energizing. I hope you guys think so too. And Kari, I know you've been on the podcast before, so you sort of know what our end question is, which is, what is a picture book that you wish you had written and why? Michael, since you've not had a crack at this before, I'll let you go first.
All right, so I'm going to call out an oldie but goodie. Actually, I don't know. It's from 2011. It's called Emergency. Let's see. And it's by Tom Lichtenheld and Ezra Fields Meyer. It is probably the greatest source of inspiration for my humorous writing. It's a great mentor text, like if you want to write like a funny, punny picture book, or if you're an illustrator and you're trying to figure out how to insert a bunch of Easter eggs into the back. But the premise of the story is E has an emergency and gets hurt and can't be used in any sentence at all. So
no.
I think the letter E gets replaced by O. So it makes for all these funny, mispronounced words throughout the story. And one of the best things, part of the reason why I think that, I wish I had written this is there's all this background humor. Like there are jokes with the letters and combination of letters. There's this picture of a house. Let's see if I can actually show it here. That's got, here it is. So it's got all the letters in it, but up at the top, there's D and C that are reading comics for the DC comics.
Oh my gosh.
And down in the corner, there's Q and U saying how, they always need to be together. There's all that type of humor in it, which I think is just so much fun.
Right. Talk about layers, different things. Yeah. All right, Kari, you get a second crack at this.
Sure. I mean, I have not read Emergency. I need to check that out. So I have, let's see if I can show it while we're here. Oh, shoot. Okay. There we go.
There you go.
Here, by Ann Winter. She's also in Austin, a critique partner of mine. And it's illustrated by Misha Archer. I hope I'm not.
Yeah, that's right.
So I started a manuscript years ago, kind of about this idea of hurrying up and slowing down and taking a time, and I didn't execute it well. It didn't go anywhere, but Anne does it in this book. And just the illustrations are gorgeous. And I just think it's just a beautiful picture book about being in the moment and just a sweet relationship. So
yay.
Yeah. A reminder.
It's a reminder for me to read it because I've heard lots of good things about it and I have not read that one yet. We'll put that on my list. And I think we just got the signal from Duke that we're done. For those of you who are listening, Kelly has a basset hound who flops into frog mode periodically. And he just walked into the room and just flopped into and I think perfect timing. So thank you both for being here, for joining us on such kind of short notice for an impromptu chat, and congratulations.
Yes, congratulations.
We're
Thank you.
So happy for you.
Thank you. It was a treat to celebrate this together. And thank you for all the support.
This is one of the things we do at 12 by 12 is give love and support for both the extreme highs, which is landing on the New York Times bestseller list, but also the very hard low lows of rejections and all of the emotions that go with that. So it's really fun when we get to do the former, where we get to be like, yay.
And we did mention a lot of books in this podcast today. So all of those will be linked in the show notes on the blog or at the 12 by 12 bookshop, which is 12 by 12x12challenge.com/bookshop.
That's right. All right. Thank you. Ciao for now.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Do it together so never you fear. It's a handy little way to help you kick into gear. You're amazing, exciting. Look out, 'cause you're writing 12 by 12. 12 manuscripts. 12 by 12. 12 picture books. 12 by 12